Hey guys, Shock back here again with another video. This time around we're actually doing some Scarlet Monastery solo farm with our Shaman, following my previous gold farm boosting guide in Shadowfang Keep. And yeah, I'll go over the run, the nitty and gritty stuff, the how to do it, the runes, the talents, all of that, the gold per hour. But yeah, obviously phase 3 has now been out, guys. We are all probably level 50 or most of us. My guild has attempted the new raid. We are actually finishing it off tonight. Last two bosses left. Got like a couple rank 1s. And overall, yeah, it's been great fun. But obviously with the new raid, with the new level cap, new consumable requirements coming, especially for physical DPS, like fire waters, moongools, elixirs and whatnot. So it's going to be expensive to raid, especially at a higher level, trying to get the best out of your class. And with the Nightmare Incursions now nerfed, well, I've sort of looped myself into not having gold, or found myself not having gold. So I've actually done this farm today, a couple of hours, tried to optimize it. So yeah, and just finally, before we go into the run, the big TLDR is that this is probably the worst run I've done in the last 3 hours. You'll see probably mistakes and wrong buttons pressed and extra mobs put, and it just takes 2 or 3 minutes more than usual. But obviously you can test this one out yourself, play it out yourself depending on your gear, see how much you can pull, how much you can survive, and all that. So yeah, do let me know, guys, feedback on this farm, what PvE content you want to see. I'll have an updated previous list, as well as a sort of a raid guide raid guide coming out in the next few days, as we do manage to clean up the whole raid, I hope, with all the tricks on how to get those 199 parses and whatnot. But yeah, for now, let me know down in the comments regarding any form of content, questions, gold farms, like, subscribe, share, all that. Let's get the content out and let's go. So as you can see here, I'm just jumping straight into Scarlet Monastery, frost choking the first mob, and now running towards the corridor. Those first few mobs, pulling here with third bind as well. So these first few mobs here are actually very easy to kill. So what I like to do, and in order to sort of space out the different pools, is actually go out and grab a couple more of the guys from outside. Reason is that we are no mages. We can't really pull the entire dungeon and frost nova and kite them from far away. So basically, depending on your gear, your specific talent choice, if you don't go with mine, you'd wanna sort of try and test this yourself, see how much damage you're taking, how much you can survive, and then obviously, in order to be super efficient, boosting other people, which, and let's not lie to ourselves, is probably the majority of the gold coming in. Or, it does require some repetition to get this perfect, if not some better gear, if you don't already have that. Although my gear is just basically phase 2 gear. I have a single raid item, which is almost no upgrade, right? So yeah, from that sense, I mean, you really need to feel this for yourself, because some of those mobs do hit hard. They can also interrupt your healing, which locks you out from healing in for a few seconds. So that could be a very well wipe angle, right? And then I'll go over talents, runes, consumes, what you can do to sort of improve on what I'm showing you now in the end of the video. But now, as we've cleared the sort of first corridor, go outside. We'll do the left and the right side separately, pull the entire right side. And basically the name of your game, guys, is using ledges, corners, doors and stairs to basically stack all caster mobs, because we know the sorcerers, of course, are casting you frostbolts all the time, and in a nice way pack them up and be able to clear them down. Now, one thing that I want to mention is, of course, all of the mobs in this dungeon run when they're low HP, because they're humanoids. So basically what I've, not specifically on this attempt or this pool, sorry, but you'll probably see in the next few ones, what I like to do is sort of blast them until they get to HP just before they start running, and then pop the Fire Nova, just the normal one. We're not using the Fire Nova rune, and then sort of be able to clear them out before they run in all directions, which I've sort of done here, but maybe not as good as I could have. And then also Word Bind for both this reason, stacking the mobs when they run, as well as pulling, as well as being able to, in case you're getting low on HP, basically pull a Nerd Bind to jump a couple yards out and manage to heal yourself. is actually very nice, right? So Earthbind is going to be a very big tool for us in this farm, alongside Magma Totem, Fire Nova Totem, the new overcharged rune that makes your lightning shield permanent. This is essentially the reason why we're able to do this farm, is because mobs are killing themselves, not because we're necessarily killing them. Like Magma and Fire Nova Totems are really good, but they're less than probably I'd say 30% of your damage. Generally speaking, it's lightning shield destroying the mobs. And now, as you've seen, as I'm showing you now, we're doing the left hand side of the bottom floor. And as you can see here, what I usually do is get upstairs, get them stacked, and get downstairs. Now why I'm doing this is so when they start running, they don't start running upstairs, pulling more mobs. But of course, as I mentioned already, all those mobs are running, so like you very well might have a lot of these running, depending on how how perfect you are getting those pulls in. But then also the nice thing to remember is, right, so farming is a enhancement tank with a shield specifically, right, means that you're using the shield block or whatever, like mana back rune on chest you have for shield. So that means that more often than not you'll be able to essentially refill your mana when a lot of mobs are attacking you, which means you can spam your abilities. So that's the first one, important one. And then in relation to this, why I'm saying it is because as you do like a sort of maybe a pool of 5-10 mobs and they start running on very low HP, but you feel yourself you're healthy, you have a lot of mana, what you can actually do is just straight up go for the next pool. Instead of chasing the 200 HP mobs, because basically what will happen is as soon as they stop running in fear, they'll come back to you. Now you might be in the middle of doing your next pull or so, but the mobs will be so low because they start running at like 15 or 20% or whatever, that essentially they will suicide themselves onto your lightning shield. Also, I believe I've shown the back here very quickly. I just want to make sure. We'll do the raw gold in the end, but essentially what the situation is I started counting the loot from my fire water, from the green elixir in my bag. Everything onwards is what I've looted, I believe, in this dungeon. Pretty sure. So let's just go ahead and we'll get onto the top floor. Now the way I'm doing the top floor is very similar to the bottom floor. I'm doing 2 pulls, essentially splitting the entire floor in 2. And the way I'm doing it is just basically going here in the middle. I'll flame shock this guy, earthbind all 3 so they get pulled, and then run down to the left side, drag the entire left side, and then get back to the sort of stair place. There are obviously multiple places where you can LOS all the mobs so they get stacked. You can even do it on one of those pillars over here, just over here. You don't really need to get to the stairs down, but I'm just doing that. And as you can see here, I'm getting some distance with Earthbind so I can throw a couple heals. That's, again, the name of the game, really. Aside from spamming Magma Totem and letting the mobs kill themselves into you, the second name of the game, really, is making sure you can stay alive and as reliable as possible, really, right? That's why I like some couple healing potions in me always, to have a couple healing potions in me always, as well as potentially you can do some cheap consumes as well to further help you, especially if you're not as geared or like you're trying this for the first few times. Like Elixir of Fortitude, Mighty Troll's Blood Potion are the cheap ones. Obviously from there on you can like start using raid consumes, like the strength and the agility ones, which don't necessarily benefit our clear speed all that much. What does benefit the clear speed a lot though are things like Arcane Elixir, Firepower, Dragon Breath Chili. These are like obviously AoE and spell power consumes that essentially, you see the big slow here. So by the way, because of this slow, I'm both running Decoy Totem as well as the PvP Trinket, as well as because the last boss, the only boss here, right, the Paladin guy in the end can Hammer of Justice you. And when we get there in a second, you see that we're fighting with like basically almost the entire room. And you don't want to get Hammer of Justice there, right? But yeah, so as I was saying, you can like probably juice yourself up with some more raid consumes like the Firepowers, the Dragon Breath Chilies and whatnot. But again, like I'd probably try, if I was at your place, I'll try get this as clean as I can without any form of consumes aside from health potions and mana potions. And from there on, if you feel like you're a couple minutes away from like a perfect 12-minute clear, or like a not as perfect but still good 15-minute clear, and then you start and then you decide that you do want to do that for like a couple more hours. So then maybe you want to get the boosties in so they can pay you. I'm usually charging like between 6 and 8 gold, depending how I feel, depending how many people message me. But yeah, as soon as you start getting boosters in, you can juice up yourself with a bit of extra consumes just to make sure that one, like, you will lower the chances of dying and potentially having mad boosties, but then also again trying to get that kill times down, so ideally you can fit 5 runs an hour. But also, to be fair, like running feeding in 4 runs an hour, if you get 4 boosties and all of them pay 7 gold each, which I know, like, I've had on my previous SFK farm, I had a guy that was like, oh, why are you lying, this is not like 100 gold per hour. And I'm like, yeah, but I mean, it's pretty much only 100 gold per hour from boosties. And that was back in SFK. Here, when you charge 7 gold, if you imagine, and you don't always do that, but best case is 4 people, 7 gold, that's 20 gold each, multiplied by 4 or 5 runs. You can do the math, right? That's well over 100 and something gold, even if you're doing only 4 runs. So that's not too bad, and that's excluding raw gold, that's excluding the loot. And all of that, and that's of course saying that you're charging between 6 and 8 gold, maybe you can get more. Now, basically we've cleared the top floor now, so let's get into the last room. Basically the magic way to do this is to, again, I mentioned it at the start, the real thing with this farm for shamans, and I feel like with a lot of those more higher level farms later on for shamans, the name of the game will be making sure you know how much damage you take and how much you can survive, because obviously we're no mages, we can't just run to the boss, pull the entire thing, and then the boss with all the mobs, kite them down, frost nova and whatnot. So what we gotta do, and what I've been doing for the entirety of the day testing this, is sort of taking the bite-sized approach here. Pull a couple mobs, see how it feels, pull a couple more. This run, by the way, as I mentioned a few hours in, I don't have mana drinks, so I'm not drinking mana. I think I'm looking for mana drinks in my bag. There we go. And obviously I don't have any of the consumes I've mentioned, which I could have. We're already at like 10 minutes into the last room, which is a bit slow because you need like 5 to 6 minutes to clear this whole place. But again, something I've actually found out today is that while I was doing some boosting, right, with a couple of guys, there was a druid that was getting boosted with me. And I told all the guys, right, so guys, if you wanna, you can assist, you can help. Like, obviously, boosties can and should be able to sit AFK on you to do the run, which is fine. So why I'm showing here solo how you can clear the entire thing yourself. But then also, if they are helping, and I really mean click a couple of abilities, this entire solo farm, well, at this point won't be solo farm, but this entire like sort of boost process becomes so much easier. I had a druid throw a couple of hots on me, and I was basically pulling the entire room in 2 times, like the entirety of the first room or the front section of the room, and then everything else with the boss, right? But that was in the room where I had a druid throwing a couple of heals, and I think there was a warrior doing like some 150 DPS, which is nothing special, but again, still helping. So again, if you do want to, you can tell your boosties, or if you're leveling up with a friend or boosting a friend, obviously they can assist you. And really, the shaman is really 1 like or 2 heals away from being able to tank the entire room on its own. But this time around, I do not have that. So we'll go back into, for I believe, the 3rd pull. I think I'm doing this room in 3 times. And to be fair, it's sort of again 50-50, depends on how much you can take. You can try risk it, take more mobs and do it in less pulls, or be a bit more on the safe side. Also, the really big thing with fighting mobs here, and you'll see shortly when I pull the boss with the rest of the mobs, is the whole pull a nerd bind, get a couple yards distance and heal yourself. Basically what you do is you do exactly that, and potentially you can even pull the entire room. However, again, risking getting stunned and then dying, or just risking getting clapped too fast or being pushed back on your heal. For which reason I'm running actually some rest to talent, so I'll be showing those in a second as well. But as you can see here, I get very low here, so we have to do the earth bind, move the earth bind, and now get a couple heals in. I think that's just 2 lasers. Obviously I'm running Maelstrom as well. Maelstrom really helps you in some of those pools where it just stacks up quickly, so you can insta heal yourself. I feel like focusing on survivability is much better than using like a Fire Nova totem, for example, instead of Maelstrom, simply because your lightning shield will do the thing. Like you don't care about damage, everything will die eventually, even if you're not like super strict with your Fire Novas hitting everything, or your Magma totem uptime being like close to 100%, or as close to 100% as you can possibly get it to. Regardless, you can probably not use any fire totem and still do the entire farm here just by the reflect. So yeah, I think I'm actually just going to pull those. Yeah, so I'll get these 2 mobs from this side and then the other 2 on the other side, and then that will be my, I believe, 3rd pull in the room, and then the 4th one will be the boss with everything else, right? So again, you can probably pack those 4 into the big pools, shave off a couple minutes from the run. Again, I'm showing you here more of a proof of concept, the routes or the ways I found to pull mobs and where to stack them, more so than showing you the best possible run of that dungeon or that farm, right? So you know, take this with a grain of salt. Know that you can definitely improve, and I've been doing this just for a couple of hours, and by the end I was so tired and getting so many wrong recordings in or dying to stupid stuff. So yeah, that's really not a perfect pull, but yeah, we're basically at 14 minutes now, and everything we have left is the boss with the last mobs that will get pulled with the boss. So you can imagine that you shave off a couple minutes of that, like a minute or 2, and then you're exactly at either 12 or 15 minutes for either perfect 5 or 4 runs per hour. So I'll be going here, get the more grain guy. Obviously everything else starts coming back. I should have probably dragged those totem earlier and put them at the back earlier. Don't forget obviously that before you do Molten Blast, Magma Totem will get aggro and it will get insta-shotted. I think I got stunned here, do the Trinket, put 3rd bind, start running back, get some distance. That was a very quick healing wave with a good amount of Maelstrom procs, and then you can still see I'm getting clapped, so that's not great. I believe I'll be using a health potion here. Just gotta make sure you don't die really in these sort of farms, because then that just really kills your profit and your like sort of time you do the run for. But you don't necessarily need to face tank all those mobs as much as I did. Simply because everyone knows the water thing down at the fountain, where you can actually just juke the mobs constantly. What I do here is actually just get them back to my spot in terms of the staircase ledge, because a lot of those mobs are very low and I feel sort of confident that they're not going to be killing me. Funny thing in this run, as you can see here, I did kill more grain. I feel like too close to the boss, because obviously if you kill it very far, white mane doesn't even spawn, and obviously more grain doesn't drop loot, right? In this run though, white mane did spawn. I got 2 or 3 mobs that reset, and then she's also reset somehow. Like she's just sitting there. I don't know if I'm getting out of combat, probably not, but like she's not engaging me, right? So that was funny. In all cases, while I'm here and again not doing a perfect run, I'll just go in and kill her and kill more grain as well. Only because they do drop blue items, and if you get the 2-handed hammer or the 1-handed healing mace, actually they both sell for a decent amount of gold. So if you are doing this with more boosties, and if they are helping, definitely get the bosses. Get the boosties to get their loot, or you just loot them for gold. You'll still be under 12 minutes if a single person helps you out, especially if they're healer. You are just like basically doubling the speed of your run probably. So yeah, this will be now getting killed off. Let me just skip fast forward. That's very slow. I don't have mana. The shield doesn't return mana if you're not blocking, and there's a single guy hitting me, so I'm not blocking as much. So mana here is a bit iffy. Yeah, and they'll be dying now, and I believe I actually got the mace as well, right? So let me just see. Yeah, that's the neck, and then that's also the mace. So the mace I think sells for like 2G or something, so that's pretty good. Cool. So this was basically, guys, the run. 70 or 18 minutes on the clock. You can see my gear here very quickly. Pause if you need to. I have a single item for the new raid that's like fine. Like the boots, they're nothing special. I'm using a full stamina set as much as I can. and I'll be showing you now my talents. Basically what I decided to go for is complete like full tank spec, essentially like maximum defensive ability and then points in restoration so I can get the reduced pushback of heal. Now I think you saw me earlier in the dungeon actually. Let me just play the video again. I want to check something very quickly, but essentially I think you do see me somewhere at the start to do like okay, what's going on? Okay, let's just close that. Somewhere at the start, I am getting this clutch heal. Ooh, Zandalar buff, boys. This is the new world buff. So what you gotta do is being booty bay. Let me just very quickly get that booned in. There we go. Nice. So what I wanted to show you guys is how much gold I've actually made from doing this. So let me just make sure I can try open my recording again. So we'll see. Okie dokie. Where do I show my gold at the start? I'm pretty sure I opened the bags. Okay, let's see. Oh my god, this VLC is so bad. Alrighty. Okay, so that's actually the video currently being recorded. Let me just try Windows Media Player. Okay. Do I not show you the gold at the start? So as I said, this is a iffy run. I've been doing this for a while. Let me just try find where I do show my backs. I might actually not be showing my backs. Okay, so well, yeah, doesn't really matter. The TLDR is that you loot about 3 to 4 raw gold from the dungeon. This is if you're doing it solo and not splitting with anyone, right? And then if I just manage to get quickly to a vendor here, is this a vendor? No, this is no vendor. If I get to a vendor quickly, I've calculated, or rather everything from fire water was the last single run. As you can see here, that's the neck and the Morganite might. I feel like I might have done a run before where I died, so this might not be super correct, but basically I'm at 218. If I sell basically everything, by the way, Silk Cloth I'm just vendoring because there's no worth selling it on the auction house. Let's just pop that. Oh, that was from before, right? Yeah, so I've gotten like what? Okay, sell these. Right, so I've gotten like 8 or 9 gold. I think a couple of the stacks of cloth and a couple of the other items were from the run before. So right, don't call it 9 gold, call it 7 or 8 gold. Plus the 3 raw gold. You get about, I'd say, 8 to 10 gold per run. Raw gold, not shared with all the items, right? Or all the loot that you can sell back. In terms of talents, again, I think I already mentioned, but this is what I'm currently testing. It's not bad. It has saved me a couple of times. You don't really need to go to Elemental Fury like we did in Shadowfang Keep, because again, Lightning Shield and Magma Totem already do so much damage that you don't really need to be min-maxing this talent as well. And yeah, the rest you can see here. Obviously, Lightning Shield talent is amazing because obviously that's your main damage. And I think I actually have a run here. Is that current segment? Yeah. So this would be my last run, I feel like. Is this the whole run? Should be. In all cases, you can see here Lightning Shield is doing a lot of damage, and if I do overall data for the last few hours that I've been doing this, Lightning Shield is 70% of the damage. So in all cases, Lightning Shield is carrying you, this talent is carrying you, putting everything in defensive talents, consumes and heal pots to make sure you never die is like super crucial. And then runes, right? That's what I'm forgetting. Runes. Head is mental dexterity, straightforward. Shield is shield mastery, that's again straightforward. You want your mana back. Charged or overcharged, sorry, is the broken rune for Lightning Shield. Really good, that's carrying us so hard. Molten Blast is nice AoE. It can get its mana, it can get its cooldown refreshed if you're flame shocking, which should probably do, especially on the runner guys. Because obviously your choke is in melee, you can't really do that. Plus it's AoE. Milestorm instead of the Fire Nova, because you want to sort of get a couple of those stacks in. Even if you're not at 5, dropping an Earthbind, jumping 2 yards and getting like a full healing wave, especially with the reduced cast time from here, as well as with the pushback decrease chance, you're almost always getting it. If you're at 3 stacks, Earthbind, jump, insta-cast healing wave always goes through. They never are able to catch you. You cast it under like, I think, a second exactly. If it's on 1 or 2 stacks, again, you feel it, but Milestorm is really good, I feel like. On pants, I'm actually rocking Way of Earth, simply because it gives a lot of stats, makes us very tanky, run Rock Biter and all that. Now, previously in SFK and maybe even in this farm, you could try Earth Shield or Shamanistic Rage. However, Earth Shield conflicts with Lightning Shield, which is the main way we are killing mobs. So that would be a big no-no going forward. And you can potentially try Shamanistic Rage instead of Way of Earth. But again, seeing how many mobs are hitting you, especially if you're trying to overextend it and get it to like faster the whole run, you'd want to have Way of Earth. And then on boots, I'm using Decoy Totem because of the slow, the frostbolts, which you generally resist, but they might hit you. And then obviously on hands. Oh wait, we said hands. Yeah, I think that's actually all the runes, right? We went over them. Alpha is pointless, right? Like, you don't need this extra physical damage. You're not killing them with physical damage. Lightning Shield is killing them, so that's basically what it is. In terms of gear, I've put in the maximum stamina gear I have throughout my bags and bank. But you can also go towards the sort of spell power route, especially if you find gear with a low spell power and stamina. Male gear specifically, especially if you're elemental. If you're elemental, this farm is really good because the added spell power just increases your lightning shield and magma and molten blast and everything damage, right? So from that sense, this is not some enhancement exclusive farm. I feel like any shaman can do this if you can put enough stamina gear on you. Last thing to note is reflect items. As I've mentioned, I love them. You could put Retrocution or Enchant from phase 2 on your chest. That also always does damage and basically is another lightning shield, or just basically doubles up on the lightning shield because it always does damage when they hit you, such as lightning shield currently. And then also the reflecting shield from phase 2 as well, which not a big fan. I'm pretty sure here it's not going to be nowhere near close to the... Yeah, it's basically the last thing that does damage for me. But I love Epic's shield, is good. I think it's probably the best shield from last phase anyway, in terms of armor and block. So unless we get, what was it called? Skull Flame Shield, which I think is actually not available at this level bracket. Wasn't it 45? Yeah, 54. No, 45. 54. Well, why am I getting confused? It's 54 that I'm trying to say. Let's just see quickly. Skull Flame Shield. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah, it's 54, correct. This is not available. I think Green Tower is though. So Green Tower is like another reflect shield for higher level, but you don't really need the reflect anyway. Yeah, enough ranting from me, guys. That was the sort of proof of concept. Try this, get this. I've done this for about 2 hours and I've made about 250 gold. So and that's including all the wipes, all the tries, multiple anks I've used to like sort of get back up and finish my run, which is never optimal and all that. But yeah, let me know, and until next time, bye bye.